Hi, my name's Daz, and I'm the producer of Drift, and this is now the night before the premiere. Today I've been spending some time putting the film through the mill one more time, checking it out in the screen, making the sound as best as I can, checking that the brightness is right. I've done lots of different versions, ones are extra bright, ones are a bit of contrast, and trying to find that mix, that blend. Trying to sort the colours out. Every projector is different, and this is the premiere, so I want to make sure that I've got it right. And also, we're working on the venue itself, so as well as some displays and a few bits and bobs for people to look at and what have you. Because this is like, this is like a really special occasion for everyone involved, and I want to make it as special as I can. We have wine and all that kind of stuff. We've got TV companies coming tomorrow as well, so terrestrial channels are going to be coming here. And interviewing the cast and crew, probably me, and our guests, to see what they think. So it's going to be, an interesting day. It's been a long time coming, and to think that tomorrow we're going to premiere the movie, is a big deal. Although I'm so tired from everything, it's difficult to be excited. Although I am excited, I'm excited inside. Another thing that I've been sort of looking at the moment is going back to sort of the marketing thing that I talked about in the last diary. Things have moved forward with that as well, and it's interesting because as you go from sort of the euphoria of having finished your film and wanting to share that with people involved with it, the reality hits very quickly as to what the industry or the distributor wants to do with your movie. Whether it's change the artwork, even the title of the film has come up. Breaking it back down again into single components of audio, different types of audio, subtitles and different languages and ratios and formats, all that type of stuff. Suddenly it's like you're back in the edit phase again, which is sort of feels like a step back, but actually a step forward. No one's telling you how wonderful your movie is, well, except for occasionally. Normally that's how an email will start, hey, love your movie, then get down to business. So it's a bit of a weird one. It's one that I'm not too experienced in really from before. I've done a few things, but nothing major. So that's good. The other side of the thing that's sort of a bit disappointing is the number of people that are coming. And we've got about 200 people have sort of signed up. There's a lot of people that can't make it. Some with some really good reasons, which I understand. Some unforeseen circumstances, which I also understand. But also quite a few people outside of that just aren't coming, and that's okay, and I get that, and I think what that really means for me, it's not a case of, well, very disappointed, well, this should come, all the effort I've got into this, that's not it at all. What it actually is for me is more of a reminder of how, or rather where, movies sit in reality. And if you think, for example, of recent general releases, big blockbuster movies like Interstellar, you have this sort of big build-up of, this film is coming, you see the trailer, it's all sort of potential of this great movie coming out. And then the movie comes out, and it makes a lot of money, big blockbuster, lots of marketing going into it. And then within a week, it's gone. It's still at the cinema, perhaps on screen 3 or 4, but it's from the public eye, unless you're a die-hard fan of that particular, movie, it disappears. And then the next one comes along, and suddenly, after Interstellar, there was a Star Wars trailer. And then that's gone round circles, and now there's a James Bond movie coming out. And when all of these films come out, there'll be a big build-up, and suddenly it'll just disappear. Now, why is that? Well, because in the grand scheme of things, is it news? Not sure. It's entertainment news, but then it just disappears. So, rolling that back into the Drift, whilst for me, and for Chris Nolan and other directors and producers and all the rest of their movies, it's a really big deal. From a reality, from a public point of view, it's just 2 hours. It's just something to watch for a couple of hours. And I think in some ways that could be a bit depressing. And I think in other ways it's a bit of a reality check. You think, well, actually, Dad, you think about that, it's just a film. No matter how good it is, no matter how much money you put in, no matter who stars in that movie, 2 weeks after that movie comes out, no one's going to care. Now, that's not a reason not to make films, because some people will care. Some people will want to see your film, etc. And it's not about, or rather, you have to decide what it is about? What is your film? Why are you making this film? Are you making it to make lots of money? Because if you are, that's how it's done. You know, mass marketing, lots and lots of money goes into it. Distribution, make your money back in like 3 weeks, move on to the next project. It's a machine. If you're making it for yourself, for your own creativity, because it's a story that you really love and you want to tell, then you shouldn't worry about the fact that lots of people will watch your film and then won't care about it anymore, or won't talk about it, perhaps, not so much care about it, but won't talk about it so much. You shouldn't worry about that. I don't worry about that. I don't make this film for millions of people to watch and say, you know, hey, Daz is great, or that film is brilliant, you know, I want to watch it again and everything. It'd be nice. It would be nice, of course it would. Who wouldn't want to have that happen to their movie? But it's really why I made it. I made it because I wanted to make a film about this story that's set in this universe with Starlight Crystal and this crew. I wanted to prove to myself that I could make a movie. I remember when I was at school, back years and years ago, I remember we had a new headmaster at our school, and he introduced himself and said what he did and all these types of things. And one of the things he said he had done in his life is he'd written a novel. And I remember when he said that to me, I thought, well, that's awesome. Wish I could write a novel. I'm crap at writing. You know, that's why I have Sue's, my scriptwriter. I couldn't do that, but I do make films. So now I'm in a position where, you know, if I was a headmaster, if I was, or whatever, you know, say, hi, my name's Daz. I was the producer and the creator of this film called The Drift. I made a feature-length movie, and it got distributed, and it was on at the cinema, and it got a premiere. Job done. So I think as much as you can sort of think about those issues about filmmaking and the fact that it comes up and then it disappears, you know, you shouldn't be disheartened by it. You should just be ready for it. Just be ready that, you know, your movie is only going to be as big until the next big thing. No matter how big your movie is, no matter who's in your film. That's the reality of filmmaking. And that's good, actually, because it means more and more films are being made and more films are coming out. So ultimately, I suppose, you know, it's not really a bad thing. You know, for me, right now, it's about having everything here all set, good to go. A few more little tests to do, perhaps tomorrow morning, get my speech sorted out, that's really important. Got a few awards to give out as well, recognising, you know, all the people that have been involved. Probably do a diary tomorrow, probably the last one. That'd be different, probably everyone will forget about those. If they're even watching them in the first place, I suppose. You know. Anyway, there we go. So, the Drift's coming tomorrow.